Hey everybody, it's Innovision! And recently, Valve released a SteamOS stable update that broke custom fan curves on Legion Go devices. In today's video, I'll provide technical details of what happened and why it's going to continue to happen. And I'll also use this to help motivate some of the other awesome Linux-based gaming distros we have out there. And don't worry, I'll even provide a step-by-step guide on how to fix the issue so you can be up and running in no time. Stick around, because you don't want to miss any of it. As we get started, I'd like to thank Adrian for putting a tip in my tip jar. For a while now, he's been an avid viewer of Innovision games. I'd also like to thank our channel members for your support as well. Everyone's support is going to allow me to keep growing the reach of the channel, as well as continue developing new and interesting content. As many of you out there already know, SteamOS is based on Arch Linux. It's a minimalist Linux distribution. And one of the things that the Linux operating system needs is a kernel. And in order to enable custom fan curves or just the charge limit on your device, you need to enable something called dynamic kernel module support. And what it effectively means is we need a way to be able to dynamically load and unload objects in the Linux kernel. And more specifically, we need to be able to unload and load objects within the kernel that are responsible for providing ACPI calls. And so a while back, I developed a utility called Legion Go Utils. And this utility will go through and enable dynamic kernel module support. It even provides you with the ability to test whether it's been enabled correctly or not. Now, in order to enable dynamic kernel module support, we need a snapshot of the Linux kernel and the Linux kernel headers. And so typically Valve maintains a snapshot of the Linux kernel and headers that are used for a particular release. And this is an example of where some of the other Linux distros shine. For example, in Bazite OS or Cashy OS, I'm assuming some of the other ones that I haven't gotten around to testing yet, they also provide you with access to a tool called Handheld daemon. One of the central features of these handheld-based gaming distros is that Handheld daemon is there to adjust your TDP settings. It's there to help you adjust your custom fan curves, some of your controller input settings, as well as RGB lighting. And so SteamOS, in a sense, especially for devices that aren't fully officially supported yet, it's a little bit messier. And so we have to rely on third-party plugins. Well, one of the third-party plugins that we rely on for the Legion Go devices is Legion Go Remapper, and it was developed by Aaron Lee, and I've also helped add some contributions to the code base there. But whenever Valve releases an update, it breaks our plugins, whereas when Handheld daemon is part of the existing Linux distro, all of these things are already working in concert. Now, I'm not saying that I don't like SteamOS. I'm not saying that I prefer one or the other. I truly love all of these gaming distros. This is coming from a person that was working with Linux since the late 90s, early 2000s, and I had a dual boot setup pretty much all through college so I could be able to play PC games but also do work and coding under Linux. I remember there were maybe just like 2 or 3 games that you could run under Linux at the time. So this is truly a renaissance for gamers, especially people who want top-notch performance, a minimalist setup, don't want to muck around with settings too much. SteamOS really provides you with that. Now, if you don't mind more frequent updates or you want to kind of roll up your sleeves and tinker a little bit more, I find that Bazite and Cashy are more friendly for those kind of things. But in the end, under SteamOS, we're at the mercy of Valve releasing things like the kernel snapshot and the headers. That's a little bit about the technical details of what happened here. And so what I've done here today is I've updated the Legion Go utils, and I provide a step-by-step set of instructions to get your custom fan curves and charge limit on your Legion Go devices up and running again. And for some of the folks out there that might be wondering whether they should do this or not, if you're not having any problems with overheating, I would say don't even worry about this at all. This is more for folks that are having overheating and their consoles shutting down while they're using higher TDP settings. Me, for example, when I tend to play on my Legion Go devices, I tend to use balanced or balanced performance TDP settings. I very rarely crank it up to the highest TDP, and that's because, you know, I have gaming PCs and other gaming devices, but there's several folks out there that their Legion Go or their other handheld is their main gaming device. And so they have no choice but to push it to limits to be able to play some of the games they want to play. And so we're here to help you with that today. Another thing I've been considering is generalizing the Legion Go utils to be something more like a SteamOS utils. If this is something that's interesting to everyone out there, please hit me up in the comments section and let me know. We've got the Steam box and the VR headset, and now many people are installing SteamOS on their home-built computers. So I figured, why not start building tools around that ecosystem rather than focus it purely on one device. After the latest SteamOS update, you might find yourself in this situation. You try to go and configure your custom fan curves and the option's missing altogether. That's expected. Anytime Valve updates the Linux kernel, we're going to have to make an update to the Legion Go utils. And so if we go over here and just take a look, we're on SteamOS Hollow 3.7.19 and the kernel has changed. Also, it's worth noting that the methods that we're describing in today's video work on all Legion Go devices. You can use it on your Legion Go, Legion Go 2, Legion Go S. You'll need to use the Legion Go Remapper Decky Loader plugin. Now, there's an asterisk for Legion Go S devices. That's not something that I've heavily tested at this point, but one thing that won't work is adjusting the RGB lighting. You can only use it for adjusting the custom fan curves and the charge limit. Go into desktop mode. Now, once you're in desktop mode, if you've never set up Decky Loader plugins, that means you haven't set your password up either yet. You'll want to open up a terminal by going under the applications, under system, and then open console. And you're going to type in PASSWD. Now, in my case, I already set a password, so it's asking me to change it. But in the event you've never typed it before, it'll say set up new password here. And you'll type in your password twice, but you won't see anything showing up on the screen. But it's actually taking the characters as you type them. And so once you've set up your password, you're going to want to search for Decky Loader. And you'll take the first website, not GitHub, that pops up. And it's this decky.xyz. So you'll click into there, and then you'll click download, and it's going to download an installer. And you can click there to get it. So I already have one downloaded, but if you double click on it, it's going to give you the option to launch it. That's if you're on this main branch, it shows up as launch. On older versions of SteamOS, it shows up as execute. So you'll click launch here, and it's going to ask you to continue. It's going to prompt you for your password. And in my case, I already have it installed. So you would update to the latest release. And I'm going to click OK. All right, we can close the installer. The next thing I want to do is install the Legion Go Remapper. You may not have to reinstall Legion Go Remapper, but since we're going to a new version of the SteamOS, I'd recommend just running these steps again just to avoid any complications. So we're going to copy this curl command that's going to install the Legion Go Remapper. So we'll open our console again. And we're just going to paste this here and hit enter. It's going to ask for our password. It's going to do its thing. And the installation's complete. At this point, you can go ahead and go to the next step. Go to Innovision Games Legion Go Utils, which I'll link in the description of the video. This is a tool to enable dynamic kernel module support so we can enable ACPI calls, which are needed for controlling the custom fan curves as well as the charge limit. And so the first thing we're going to want to do, if you already have downloaded the Legion Go Utils repository, in my case, I do have it here. You can see it right here. We're going to want to go ahead and delete that. So we're going to say rm-rf and then the name of the directory, which is Legion Go Utils. And that just deleted it. So if we do ls again, you'll see it's gone. And so now we're going to want to clone the repository again because now it's been updated. You'll go over here to this code and then change from SSH to HTTPS unless you already have GitHub set up with your SSH key. We're going to copy that and we're going to go back to our terminal and we're going to type in git clone space and then paste that URL. And so now we have Legion Go Utils again. Now we're ready to install it. So we'll type in cd space and then type in Legion Go Utils. If you have a mouse and keyboard, you can hit tab and it will auto-complete. And so now we're in Legion Go Utils and we can see all the files here. So the next thing we're going to want to do is go back to the GitHub page and then we're going to want to copy this command, the first one. Notice that says -- enable ACPI calls because that's exactly what we want. And so we're going to paste this command here and hit enter. And it's going to download kernel file and the kernel headers. If you haven't typed your password in a while, it would prompt you again for your password here. But since I just used the password to install Legion Go Remapper, it already had the password here. All right, and this takes a few minutes and it says it's done. So the next thing we're gonna wanna do is to copy this command here, dkms, which is dynamic kernel module, and then status. And if everything worked correctly, we get this and it shows that ACPI calls are installed. Perfect. So now what I want to do is actually just close everything out and I want to reboot my console. So keep in mind that this works for Legion Go devices. This also works for non-Legion Go devices. All right, so we're back in and let's take a look at our plugins here. So we've got Legion Go Remapper. We can now enable and disable charge limit, and we can enable custom fan curves. And now that we've enabled custom fan curves, I can actually go ahead and set the fan to full speed here just to show you. You can hear it. So I'm gonna go ahead and disable full speed mode. You can adjust your limits right here. So one other thing we're gonna take a look at, if we hit the power button now, it puts the console to sleep. So it looks like on main, they've already fixed the power button issue. Now the big long-standing issue is the brightness slider. So this is pretty nice. Unfortunately, Fantastic does not work, but we've got everything we need in the Legion Go Remapper, and I'm thinking about generalizing the Legion Go utils to be a general SteamOS utility that we can use on any device. If you'd be interested in that, hit me up in the comments section, let me know, and I'd be happy to take that in consideration. It's worth noting that we have a survey out on the community page asking everyone what their favorite Linux-based gaming distro is, and the results are kind of all over the place. If you haven't had a chance to check it out, go there and vote, weigh in, let me know your favorite distro and why. Speaking of running SteamOS on custom gaming hardware or your homebrewed PC build, I bought a home video game console that's kind of in the process, it feels like being sunsetted, but it's based on x86 hardware. And I went through the exercise of installing SteamOS on it. It doesn't support installing it right out of the box. I actually had to rewrite the SteamOS installer, but these are some of the amazing things you can do with Linux. One of the videos I'm working on is showcasing running SteamOS on a sub $100 console. I even have things like HDR up and running and working. I love all of the options that we're about to have here as gamers. And one thing I'm really excited about is to continue to see the Linux gaming community grow. But anyways, in today's video, we showed you how to get custom fan curves back up and running on your Legion Go device. We provided some technical details as to why it stopped working and why this is going to be a problem that we will continue to encounter, but we're here to continue updating things as we go along. Be sure to hit that like button and subscribe. That way you don't miss all the amazing gaming tips we've got coming down the pipeline. If you're enjoying my how-to guides and handheld related content, be sure to like the video and subscribe. That way you get that notification as soon as a new video comes out.